It's Sunday morning. I've got the papers. I've kind of run some water through my hair. And look who's here.
Hi everybody.
Oh dear.
I'm not very well.
That was a bit croaky.
God.
Jesus.
So I'm trying to look at the colour of this sobs. Look at that. Right, you would never think that would work on a face now, would you look? Just gives a really pale lift. Because I look so grey because I'm not well. Welcome to the No Name Sunday show. It's good to be back.
Is it good to be back?
Yeah, look at that, so pink.
Let's not talk about makeup in the Sunday show. Anyway, what's the first section? See if you remember.
Oh, dogs.
Yay! Who let the dogs out? Chi-Chi! From a young age, I've always been mesmerised by what women are doing. I'm just going to spin you around and just see if you're as mesmerised as me. The magical, mystical arts of makeup. War paint.
I hate that phrase. It's such a sexist phrase.
Why?
War paint.
Why? Going out to war, going out to battle.
It's horrible. It's such a sexist phrase, babe.
All right,
Going out to war to find their man to fight against other women. That's what
I
it
wasn't
is.
saying that. I
No,
thought
but
it
that's
was to embolden yourself against the world.
No, but that's what the connotations.
All right, well, what's the first dish in this show? See if you can remember.
First dish in this show is lasagna. And it was so good. Was it lasagna? Was it?
Yes.
Is it? Oh, it is.
Yeah, well,
Off to lasagna. Right. So many people's favourites. So many different ways to have it. Were you,
What are you
Mark?
talking about?
Lasagna.
Oh, right.
Mark, were you a lasagna and chips kind of student? You know, when you're younger, when I was younger anyway, I used to have lasagna with chips and garlic bread.
Yeah, lasagna and garlic bread.
Never lasagna and chips?
No, never chips.
Like, there's different kinds of lasagna. I'm just going to put some olive oil
I've
in.
never really been a huge fan of chips.
Yeah, you're not really, are you? But there's different kinds of lasagna. There's the really like cheap, like mucky lasagna you can get in a pot, you know, convenience food. I like that sometimes with plastic garlic bread. There's the, just going to put some onions in. There's the, you know, in a pub, lovely pub, bubbling, boiling lasagna that you would have with like sort of pub chips. You might even add a bit of ketchup. And then there's the multi-layered, you know, packed that high that you get in delis with lots of sauce in between. There's so many different kinds of lasagna.
I used to make a mean lasagna as a student. I used to do a brilliant bechamel sauce.
Okay, all these things you were promised. Why aren't you cooking this then?
Well, because I needed to then, and I don't need to now.
Okay, he's honest. Add some garlic. Yeah, so this is Maddie's favourite. She'll be very pleased that I'm cooking this. She might even come down in a minute though. I'm starving. So funny. How often, as soon as there's garlic and onion frying, everyone's suddenly starving. And I was exactly the same when I was a kid. And I could always tell that my mum used to quite like it, that we'd come down and say, "Oh, Mum, I'm starving." She'd go, "Well, because I'm frying onions." I was so lucky, really, to have a stay-at-home mum that was always there when I got home from school. Our kids certainly haven't had that. In a minute, I'm going to say a very shocking thing. Now, you know I often talk about John Waite. He is a fantastic cook and he's amazing on Instagram. Honestly, his recipes are utterly brilliant. You would trust every single recipe he does. But the other day, he was doing a bolognese or a lasagna or something. It was a slow-cooked meat. And he said, "Don't brown the meat." I DM'd him and I said, "What the bleep? I'm not supposed to brown my meat." I went, "No, don't brown your meat, not if you're doing a slow cook." So that's why I am not browning my meat today, even though I have said that multiple times before.
It's yet to be
We'll
there.
see. I still don't know if I agree with him, huh?
It's yet to be there.
What do you mean?
Just be banging up. Literally, I lost the will to live. I don't know what you're talking about.
Mark, this is a massive thing.
It might be between you and John Waite, but not with anyone
Mark!
else.
It's massive.
Well, massive. That means you've been
Don't
cooking
brown
incorrectly for
your
years.
meat.
You need
Okay.
a T-shirt with "Don't brown your meat."
We're just going to let that cook for a bit.
You browning your onions,
No, never.
so you shouldn't brown anything.
I'm getting my onions till translucent and glassy.
What are we doing now? Am I just waiting?
Okay. Just let them cook really slowly, and then I can make my bechamel sauce. So I've got 75 grams of butter in there. You know, this isn't a low-cal meal. Have it sometimes, and then make it really, really nicely, and have really good organic meat. Just have meat occasionally, but make it sure it's really good quality. So I've got 75 grams of butter, and I've got 75 grams of flour. 50 grams of flour to 50 grams of butter is a pint of milk. So I'm doing a pint and a half, so I've added 25 grams. Because, I mean, if you want to cut down on the white sauce, you don't have to have it thick in each layer, and you don't have to have loads on the top. But this lot bloody love the sauce, so I'm making lots of sauce. So 75 grams of butter melted, 75 grams of plain flour, cooking out the flour so we don't get the taste of the flour. Okay, so now I'm going to start adding my milk. But here's the key to not getting lumps. I've taken the chill off it in the microwave and just add a dot at a time. Okay, so you see we've got no lumps because we've added it slowly.
No, I always remember that being key, and I would do that with patience when I was a student.
I think you're quite an instinctive cook. A good heavy-based pan. You don't want a thin pan. If you can get non-stick, better, but make sure you get a non-stick whisk, because otherwise you'll scrape off the non-stick and you'll get horrible black flecks of Teflon in your sauce.
Don't start the Teflon chat.
And I can pour it in a bit quicker now because I know we've got no lumps. Some pepper, some salt. Finally put some salt in the salt cellar. A scraping of nutmeg. Ooh. A scraping of nutmeg. Don't worry if you haven't got any nutmeg, it just adds another dimension to the sauce. If I had some bay leaves, I'd put a bay leaf in now, but I haven't.
Yeah, see, I love filming onions.
I know you do, don't you? It's weird.
Love it. Well,
You've never got tired of it.
There's a glisten to it. There's something about it that's so satisfying on the lens.
Okay, so now I'm going to add in my non-browned beef.
I like the idea of browning.
No, gosh, we didn't need to do it. I'm going to see though. I mean, it is when you cook, if you're cooking the meat for a long time, he said. Oh, I'm browning it again now. So I don't need to brown it. I don't know what to do.
Why have you put it in then?
Why am I not just doing it the way I usually do it?
Just do it
Why
the
am I
way you do
doubting?
it. It's always good the way you do it. Who is this John Wayne? How's he got in here?
I'll have to send him a link to
How has he
this.
got into your mind?
John, get out of my mind. We've got a
going
brilliant cookery school. Do you remember when I went off to that cookery school weekend?
In Dublin?
With Dan Wooten and Lisa and everyone.
In Dublin?
No, it wasn't Dublin. No, that was Lisa's 50th. It was Dublin. Okay, so I'm going to add some black pepper. Remember, I always fry my black pepper. I'm not doing it today because Mark and Maddie won't like it, but I'm putting in oregano. But how my mum does it at this point is she puts a teaspoon and a half of ground allspice and a teaspoon of cinnamon. Absolutely delicious. So if you want to try a bit of a different flavoured lasagna, try it. My friend Simone was here the other day and it's in my first book, under Arabic lasagna. I think it's called Arabic lasagna, the recipe. Stop buying you something like it. Thanks, Mark. And Simone was here the other day. She said, oh, I made it again. I love it so much. So much. She's German. I don't do a very good German accent. So I'm putting in a whole... Wait, this is radical now. You're not going to believe this when you see this about. 2. I'm not putting tin tomatoes. I don't think tin tomatoes is the place for lasagna. It's just going to be wine and tomato cube. People will be screaming. People will be horrified. But this is the way we do it. Right, now I'm going to add a good splash of red wine. I'm going to bring that up to the bubble to burn off the alcohol. I'm going to add a good pinch of salt. And I'm going to add some water because this is going to cook down a bit. And what I would say is just keep checking that most of that water is going to bubble away. Don't go and write an email. Don't go off and have a coffee. Be around to give a little stir. You don't want it catching on the bottom. You don't want it drying out. If I had a bay leaf, there'd be a bay leaf in there, but I haven't got any.
Hate bay leaves.
Darling, I put bay leaves in so much food. You don't eat the bay leaf. It just gives it an essence.
I don't even like the flavour.
Yeah, you do.
I don't.
Because there's loads of things you eat.
John Waite has got in your head and he's messed with it.
We're ready to layer up our lasagna. We always, as a family, we all make our lasagnas slightly differently. Me, my mum, Dina. But we all put parsley in between. And this was a little trick that Dina learned when she was living in Italy. And the Italian mama she was staying with put fresh continental parsley in and it was really nice. And now, oh my God, I can really feel the difference when it's not in there. So I always start with a little meat.
Yeah, you don't put a lot on the bottom, do you?
I don't put a lot of meat because you all like the sauce more. Then I put the sauce. Then I put the parsley. Now if I had some parmesan, I would put a sprinkle of parmesan there, but I think somebody's accidentally thrown it away. Okay, lasagna.
It always reminded me of, it's a bit of an Airfix kit, this bit, isn't it?
Right, now Kiki doesn't like lasagna, Mark.
Oh.
So, she can have this. The rest is bolognese. I go carefully at the beginning because it's so annoying when you run out of sauce and you have to make some more. I've had to do that so many times. So I see how I'm going, because it's really important that you have enough sauce to completely cover the top so that you don't get that horrible dry sauce. So all the rest now. One tip, whenever I make lasagna, I always get it out of the oven a good half an hour before people want to eat it, because otherwise it's so hot, and I think the flavours just really benefit from just being left to sort of meld a bit. Don't go crazy with the cheese. It's not cheese on toast. You want a cheesiness. You don't want a great big thick gluggy bit of cheese on. Well, I mean, if you like that, do that, but I think that's more than enough. So that will go in the oven now at 200, and it's weird because I find with lasagna, and it's probably with how much sauce you've got in it, sometimes it takes half an hour, or sometimes it takes 45 minutes. I'll just take this. It's Armageddon here. I've got something around my top, so if you think that's a different red top, it is. I can't find the thing, so I'm having to use the apron. Oh, come on. Does it get any better than that?
Whoa.
No, it doesn't. That, my dears, is a perfect lasagna.
It really is.
40 minutes at 200. Do we want me to take a piece out?
I think we do.
I think we need to see it. Oh my God.
Wow.
That is
Perfect colour.
perfection, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, so good. Oh my God. Look at that, guys. Layers of perfect pasta, gorgeous meat.
Where are we off to? Where are we off to?
Don't know.
Okay, guys, it's that bit of the show where time travel's happened. Nadia is now currently doing Teddy Talks with Teddy, and I am about to travel back in time with you to when me and Maddie looked at some funny stuff that's made her chuckle this week. Yeah. It's the Sunday show. Meme time. We're filming it on a much more inferior camera, so I'm sorry that I.
Really weird.
You don't. You look gorgeous. I look very odd. Okay, let's do it.
Okay, coronavirus when it sees a group of more than 6, but then realises they're going to work.
So true. That's so accurate.
Okay, so you know the whole thing, like especially since coronavirus, about women called Karen, and how there's like this whole thing that the videos of those women that flip out in shops.
Oh right, yeah.
Everyone goes, oh, it's a Karen
It's a
gone
Karen.
wild.
Oh right, okay.
So
Sorry
posted
to any
this
Karens
thing-
out there.
Sorry, it's just a Karen at church an hour after physically assaulting a store manager. They're always really religious.
They are, aren't they? It's so weird. Because you'd think they'd be breeding tolerance and kind of love, wouldn't
I
you?
know.
But they go completely batshit crazy. Let me just get the toffee.
This made me laugh. I thought it would make you laugh. It just cracked me up. And then there's if the letter S could walk.
What is that?
It's really
I don't know why that's. It's so funny.
it cracked me
I
up.
want a letter S.
I know. This guy passes out skydiving
Oh my God.
and then wakes up again.
Oh my God. Huh? Oh, he's gone.
No. Yeah.
Huh?
imagine
I mean,
how
imagine
confused
passing
he'd
out
be.
and then waking up.
Waking up in the
See that
sky.
again? God,
You could probably have a heart attack if you woke up in
wouldn't
the
you?
sky.
Imagine waking, because essentially when you've passed out, when you wake up, you've just woken up at that point.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God.
When your friend says, "I'll do it if you do it." Okay, me logs into Gmail on a new device. Google security. Isn't it because Google security gets so extra?
It does, doesn't it? That's very funny, actually. That is very
It
funny.
made me laugh so
How
much.
to personify Google security.
Yeah. Me at Christmas because we can't do anything or go anywhere.
Do you want me to rap anyone? Live for me a bit.
No, we don't.
Do you want me to rap anyone? Live for me a bit.
No, we don't.
It's so funny. Me when my friend's mother uses me as a good example.
Such a douche, isn't it?
When someone mentions your ex's name.
Here in Uxbridge today, Boris Johnson's constituency.
Don't even mention that name in front of me, that filthy piece of toe rag.
Here in Uxbridge today, Boris Johnson's constituency.
Don't even mention that name in front of me, that filthy piece of toe rag.
Filthy piece of, just unpack that. Filthy piece of toe rag. Not even toe rag, but a piece of a toe rag.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's-
me eating junk food after saying I'm going on a diet.
Oh my God, that's making me want a McDonald's.
I know.
Oh my God, he's so enjoying it. I want to
know.
cry.
And then there's this really weird encounter, but it made me laugh.
Captain Jack Sparrow! What?
What?
He just comes and takes the most random and weird encounter ever
Oh my
had.
God, he gives him a beer.
Yeah, he just gives this random guy a beer. And then this made me laugh. He's pouring beer right into it. It's the way he comes up for it. It made me laugh. And this made me laugh, I don't know why, but friend, how stoned are you? Me. Stone.
Oh my God, that's so bizarre.
I know.
Oh, that's brilliant. See, if I saw that in a gallery, I think that was really funny.
Yeah. That's all the ones.
Oh my God, they're very good.
Oh no, wait, one more. So look, this is me, so this is in your head. Your friendship is so important to me, and even if we don't talk to each other for a while, I'll never forget the times we spent together and what I say. Wagwan Pisia.
Oh, that's funny. This is happening right now. We're actually going through the papers because we're about to do what?
A newspaper headline.
I thought it was the memes.
Oh.
Isn't it nice having her back, even though she's feeling poorly? Have
The
you had
memes.
The memes. No, it's the
Beecham's
papers.
powders are so good, guys. I'm telling you. Hashtag not paid, hashtag not an ad, but oh my God, they really help.
It is the papers because we're doing the papers.
Are we doing the papers? Rolling. Sorry, I was distracted. And it's
makeup going
taste
today.
it.
I don't
Smell
want
it.
to taste it. Oh yeah, it smells
Don't we
nice.
smell of strawberries?
Yeah, you do.
I don't feel so chaotic today because I haven't looked at my phone. Other than to do my stories.
Okay, well we're still behind. Maybe that's because we overslept. Okay, well the first thing I'm going to pull up is that this is one of my big concerns in pointy culture is grass up your neighbours. I wanted to see what you think about this.
I don't like this.
Government calls for a nation of spies. I mean, we're already a nation of busybodies, and I'm just worried that this is going to cause widespread. This is going to cause fights.
Say it together. 1, 2, 3. Fights.
It is going to cause fights. People interfering in other people's business is the worst thing to recommend or request of the British public.
Absolutely do not do it, Boris. You've made one mistake after another, and this is another major one.
I mean, the point is, and I kind of tackled this a little bit on our coffee moaning. You can either take the position that people are blithely and blatantly and intentionally trying to jeopardise everyone's health, or people are at times at the edges. Just human, reaching through, by and large, 95% of the time, stuff that they're observing, and just fall foul of kind of wanting to reach out and make connections.
I mean,
I think there's a difference.
I try my best, but I'm not perfect. I'm not like a COVID police level of perfection of the rules, but I try my hardest to do the most that I can. Stop putting your own kids on TV, Kim. This is the Kardashian nanny, who is a nanny to all the girls, well, all the kids actually, for 8 years.
Wow.
I always think it's incredibly tacky when a nanny does a book, and she's done a book, and I think it's disgusting, to be honest. I think it's a place of real privilege and trust to be a nanny for somebody, and I just think it's awful. And she clearly hasn't, well, just from here, the bits that are in here, she's actually being quite nice about the kids, saying what lovely kids they were, but then she has to say, oh, Kim was really obsessed with her looks even when she was young, always looking in the mirror. Shut up. What a horrible thing to say about somebody that you've looked after as a child.
Yeah.
And then what she's saying is, mate, you should be whooping with joy that the Kardashians has ended, because you need to keep your children out of the limelight in the way that your fame-hungry mother didn't. And I just think it's a really mean thing.
I'd have thought quite hurtful to the children who'll have had a relationship with her too.
Well, exactly. Yeah. I mean, the official answer to that is unfortunate that this person continues to capitalise on our family. The statements she makes and has made about the family are false. She was a nanny for the family 30 years ago and has no knowledge or understanding of the family since that time.
Are you blinded somewhat by your loyalty to the Kardashians, though, do you think, by any chance?
No, I say that about anything. I think there's anybody. I think there's something about working with somebody in their home and then selling a book on it afterwards. I just think it's just right of tack.
Well, we've talked a lot about Theatreland, and it looks like the West End is slowly waking up with 6 theatres about to open with click and collect drinks, which is obviously brilliant news. But things like everybody's talking about Jamie, The Play That Goes Wrong, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. This is good because even those what I call blockbuster plays, they are the sort of tentpoles around lots of the other smaller plays and all that sort of. So it's like a big beast feeds little beast.
Think of all the theatre staff that will work again as well,
not
just the actors.
So it's got to be good news, isn't it? And that's obviously
really
close to our
good
hearts as some actors and singers and performers get back on stage.
Right, this really fascinated me this morning, this story, because this is a story that we all knew a lot about. A number of years ago, I think about 7 years ago. I don't know if you remember the little boy called Neon. He was one of a twin and he had a malignant brain tumour. And his mother, Sally Roberts, was absolutely convinced that the very worst thing for him was to have radiotherapy.
Right.
His particular brain tumour, the particular way that they wanted to the amount of radiotherapy they wanted to give him. And her and her husband were estranged, and she actually took her little boy and was planning to go to the Czech Republic. She's been banned from saying anything for the last 7 years under a court order.
Wow.
This is an extraordinary story.
So she's been gagged.
She's been gagged. That now has run out and she's speaking. And she said, she's talking about the night that they came and took her child in the middle of the night. Imagine, he's got a brain tumour. She's doing absolutely what she thinks is right. And they come and take him in the dead of night, the police. God. Blasted him with this radiotherapy, and everything she feared has come true. He became an absolutely skinny wreck. He was totally destroyed as a child. Look, his eyesight's affected, everything that she said. God. Guess what? That proton therapy is now a treatment used in the very hospital where he was given the radiotherapy.
That's bizarre.
And it's an amazing thing, proton beam therapy. She was right. Everything she said, she was right.
The thrust of the story is, what are you saying? Are you saying that parents need to be afforded the right to choose what's right for their children against medical establishment?
The problem was that her husband agreed with the NHS.
This was a particularly interesting story for me. Home delivery firms, so that's all your sort of online supermarkets and what have you, are being blamed for enabling problem drinkers. There's a push for tighter rules being needed because apparently Lots of underage teenagers are ordering drinks and getting them delivered without being checked, or in terms of their ages. But also there's a real concern from Alcohol Change UK that whereas a shopkeeper or publican may come to know someone over time, realise they're drinking to excess, refuse to serve them or limit what they sell, the growth of rapid doorstep delivery companies adds a new dimension. And there's this idea, I was thinking about this, I was thinking if I was one of the major components of being a rabid, solitary drinker, when you get to that point, and let's think about COVID, it's kind of encouraged that moment for everyone, is that you have to deal with the shame of purchasing your drink. There's a huge amount of shame. Now that sounds awful, but that is
still
anything.
Do it though, wouldn't you?
You still do it, but it is a moderating force, and in many regards, it's part of the sort of shame and all that kind of stuff that eventually, at some point, hopefully leads you to some kind of recovery. If you have that process removed because it's being dropped off at your door all the time, you'll just get faster and faster and drink more and more. It can just be left on your doorstep. I mean, so they do have to have, I do think there need to be checks, and you need to sort of see whether the door's being opened by someone who's completely annihilated drunk.
This is interesting. Alicia Dixon, who I love, she's been on Loose Women loads of times. Oh my God, guys, she's so ridiculously beautiful. You cannot believe it. I sit there going, the whole time she's talking, how gorgeous she is. And she's a really lovely person. Anyway, I don't know, this all happened while I was away, but there was this dance done by Diversity, who I love. They are such a
caused, I think, the largest number of complaints to Ofcom.
15,500 complaints to Ofcom.
I think it was in third place behind it was the Kim Woodburn moment on Loose Women.
Really?
Yeah.
So Ashley Banjo, I'm sorry to keep saying these things, but I know you guys love to know what people are like behind the scenes. Hard to find a nicer chap.
He seems very
These
nice.
are really, really good people here that did something with a really good intention.
Yeah.
And the dance was basically recreating the George Floyd murder. And Alicia and he are really good friends. And apparently it is absolutely knocked his confidence. You can imagine that kind of furore is really upsetting. And she's been very much counselling him and looking after him through it. And she has now said that if ITV make an official apology, she's going to leave Britain's Got Talent.
Can I just say, I'm curious to know... Yeah, no, I think it's principled, it's good, and I think she's right. But I can't understand why so many people... What was the nature of the complaint from so many people?
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
To...
Was it from people saying that it was too upsetting, or it was a murder and you shouldn't make entertainment out of it? Was it people saying that we've seen enough of this? I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
Because you can't say it's making light of it, because many, many people have appropriated the stance of the kneeling salute, haven't they? As a sort of mark of respect. One's certainly not using it as a way of saying, this is, we're exploiting. You know what I mean? I was curious, because when I first saw the headline, I thought, are these racists who are anti the...
Yeah, I don't know, because we never get to see the actual complaints, do we? But what's interesting is that Ofcom have yet to decide whether they're going to investigate. So it's not like an immediate thing where there's a huge investigation. Right. But Alicia is absolutely furious.
Right. This is a curious one, because obviously Black Lives Matter is a good example of this, of how white privilege and male privilege are things that we can take very much for granted. And I was snagged by this story that a lawyer in Scotland is seeking a pardon for 2,500 Scottish women who were tortured and killed in the satanic panic begun by James VI. This is about witches. This is about what happened to a lot of women, obviously much reported in Salem, but happened all over Europe, or certainly in parts of the UK, but very focused in Scotland, where there's a particular place in Edinburgh called Witches' Well, which marks the spot where 300 women were burnt at the stake. And it's curious that the way in which this stuff is memorialised is from a sort of gothic horror perspective of, oh, wow, and could there be witches and all this kind of stuff. Whereas actually this lawyer is wanting both a pardon for those women, probably people don't even know if they're descendants of those women, and they probably didn't have children, many of them. But I just thought, again, it's that revising and re-evaluating history.
This is something that I really hope that Loose Women are going to cover. I'd love it if they did a campaign on this. I had no idea that partners were still being stopped from going in to support their partners.
I saw a terrible story.
Not only support their partners, but to be there for the birth of their child.
Well, even worse than that, there was a horrendous story last week of a woman being told she'd miscarried when she didn't realise she had, and her husband wasn't allowed in for the consultation.
I know. Well, I actually know someone that happened to.
I can't believe that.
I actually
can't you just
know
sit with a mask? I mean, I don't understand. So what's this story?
Well, this story is, well, it's that I did you realise that people weren't still allowed? I thought that was like in the height.
It doesn't surprise me.
When the hospitals were absolutely heaving.
Yeah.
So this poor woman, do you remember that really, really awful heat wave for 3 days when we couldn't bear it? Well, she was in a hospital in August. So she had to go through 3 days of labour on her own, that boiling hot few days in the summer.
Yeah.
Then have an emergency caesarean, and she did all of this on her own. I mean, how long is this going to go on for? How long is COVID going to be the most important either death or medical emergency or illness, and all others just have to be discounted? I mean, we were talking to somebody the other day who was saying that their shrink was saying that there's going to have to be actually new names, isn't there, for a new kind of mental health crisis that's going to come out of COVID. That it can't even be named yet because it's a new complex mental health condition that's coming on its way. Let men be by the side of their women as they're having their babies.
I wanted to remember Terence Conran, who died, sadly, over the weekend. Yeah, I just wanted to remember the fact that, you know, my first job was in Habitat, and we often forget that he was the man behind Habitat. And he was a visionary, actually. When you look at a lot of the designs of what he did, you realise how much of our interior design, furniture, homeware, and all that sort of stuff that he absolutely kind of revolutionised. And it's interesting when you think of that sort of, this is kind of for architecture and art fans, but that brutalist thing of the National Theatre, all that architecture, which, you know, you love or hate it. He managed to take those concepts after post-war and he turned them into sort of things. And I think, you know, IKEA, I think so many of our brands and so much of our sort of home design owes such a debt of gratitude to him. And the Conran shop, and of course he had his restaurant and what have you. But I do think when these figures go, I worry, where are these figures of tomorrow?
They'll come.
I don't know if they will. I think there's so much corporate kind of
streamlining
of everything.
There's always creative somewhere.
Having stood on the bank opposite where this image has been taken and filmed back for the Star Wars documentary we were doing, I can't even get my head around
I can't get my head around it.
I can't get my head around it.
Who were you quoting yesterday? Was it Martin Amos who said you get up in the morning, you read about the end of the world, and then you have to go back and write?
And work. Yeah.
That's how I feel. It's like, and so now, how do I go over and make that piece of toast? And there's so much to worry about.
And Martin Amos, who is one of my favourite authors, he does make that point. He says, what's become normalised now is entertaining Armageddon at breakfast. He said that has an impact on the human soul.
Of course it does.
It really does. But when you see images like this, you realise there are so many other things that are far more pressing at times than COVID.
Yes.
Really. So there you go. That's the news for the day.
I'm sorry, guys. I feel like it was really miserable news.
I decided to drop the story that Russia and China are basically going to get us all, and I avoided probably the best fantastic headline of the day. Because it's a footballer who uses these party gas. He's an airhead. Quite like that.
Why did you miss that out? That's great.
Quickly, and then the most boring job in the world, which I thought was a curious one. This man takes photographs of multi-storey car parks. And the Daily Star wants to know.
I love him.
Yeah, as do I. I think if he's happy, do you know anyone more boring than Kev?
Oh, that's an awful
thing.
Sad? That's disgusting.
Isn't that sad? So what? He's happy.
Oh my God.
Do you know anyone more? I think that's really mean.
That's really mean. Look. And did the person that wrote that actually have a passion about anything?
Very good point. Very good point. And just quickly, I like the use of the word air. Airbrush Andrew. The royals are airbrushing him out of photos.
Oh.
Like at Prince Philip's 100th birthday, they've airbrushed him out of the event. Anyway, lots of love, guys. There you go. So I think you now need to take us off to a new section.
Recipe books.
Yes!
Recipe books! I've now got to go and try and finish my other book. And if I don't have time to finish it, you'll only be getting recipe books today. If I do have time to finish it, you'll be getting a review of a book that I'm loving.
We've got about 15 minutes of screen time between now and the book section to get it done. So scoot off.
All right.
Hey, Cookbook of the Week.
Well, I thought I'll show you a couple of my favourite cookbooks. This, Bowls of Goodness, is a really good one for our veggies and our vegan family guests.
I love this book. Not all the photos are great. You do much better. This is one of my favourite bowls, and it's a really good vegan bowl. And every single dish in here is a bowl food. And there's just something, look at that, meatball masala, that's delicious. And there's something about, you know, when we always laugh about what sort of tea do I want? I want like really bad old-fashioned tea, so that'd be a double tea bag, wouldn't it, with loads of sugar and da-da-da. And then I have my goddess tea, my self-care tea, and it always has to be in my beautiful flowery cup. Bowl food for me is the same thing, because nobody else will eat it in the house. But it's like, it's me really looking after myself when I make myself a really lovely temple food bowl of food. Look at this, gorgeous. That is
a Buddhist temple.
A Buddhist temple, and they're really, really nice. Rainbow pad thai. So that this is almost all raw. So healthy, but really, really tasty as well. I think they just get the balance just right. That's delicious.
You have egg and vegan? I didn't know you could.
No, this is vegetarian.
Oh.
Gorgeous harvest root bowl. Oh my God, I could eat that right now. Look at that, Baja Mexican bowl. So like if you've got that and that sour cream or yogurt, you could just swap that for coconut if you're vegan. But it's definitely, look at that, Buddha bowl. So just bursting. Look at the colour, look at the different grains.
I imagine that this book comes with a flatulence warning.
Yeah. I wish Mark and the girls would eat this food. I really, it would make my heart sing. Look at the colours.
That's very pretty.
Look at you see, that is like 5 grade star, like petrol putting into your car, but you're putting it into your body.
Crazy.
How do you grade petrol? What's it called?
Well, you just get really
5-star
super
petrol.
diesel or
Super diesel. You are going to feel amazing on food like that. So I really, really recommend this book. Bowls of Goodness.
Nina Olsen, is she a big
Don't
fish
know.
in
Don't know.
a pescatorian world? Or?
I think I just got that on Amazon. I don't think that was a present. This I got because my mum got it and she was raving about it, and it is an absolute must-have book if you like Middle Eastern food. It's quite pricey, so maybe it's something to ask for a present. I think it's 28 quid.
Wow.
You do get, but I know the amount of work that's gone into make this book.
Oh God, yeah, we'd all know, yeah.
A lot of work's gone into this book.
have a
You
look.
should see all the places I've folded in. Look at this. Pulled lamb shawarma sandwich. Now, Mark, tell people how good is a shawarma.
Oh yeah, no, it's
Maybe I'll make this one day for the Sunday
yeah,
show.
no, it's really quite something.
Oh my God, cooked really slow with loads of spices, then wrapped in thin bread with salad and tahini sauce or tzatziki.
Can I just say one criticism I have of the shawarma, what makes a bad shawarma? Sometimes they're wrapped too tightly. So it becomes a bit of a roll.
Okay.
Yeah.
We won't do that one. Look at this, beautiful. I think I might have made something like this. These are sort of traditional Middle Eastern dishes, but they've made, they really go to the next level. This guy used to have the restaurant with Ottolenghi.
Oh, yes.
He's written the foreword to it.
Is he Palestinian?
Yeah, but why I prefer his recipes, this is beautiful, to Ottolenghi's is that, oh my God.
Yeah,
you know when you get horrible watery stuffed peppers?
Yeah.
That's the way you do a stuffed pepper.
Why do you prefer his?
Because there aren't these great long lists of blooming ingredients. Because so many people say to me, oh, I love Ottolenghi's books, but all those bloody ingredients, look at that.
Right.
Look at that for a vegan. Beetroot and feta. Oh no, you couldn't. You'd have to miss out with the
amazing.
feta. I just want to look for one thing. I've just got to find it. You might want to pause. Hang on, where is it? This, I want Mark to make for me one day. There. Sumac, onion and herb oil buns.
Wow.
If you want to practice that while I'm away, oh my God, I would literally die if you made me that.
Oh my God. All right.
I've been too lazy to try it.
But then I'll make them and you won't be here to eat them.
Soft bread roll. Yeah, but I'm coming home.
But I have to make them again.
We'll just make them
What
once
if the
then.
first time I make them, they're really good?
Well,
Make
that's
them
what
what,
we
Thursday? Can you eat them the next day?
I think fresh should be good. I'm not back till late.
They're nice.
Sweet tahini rolls. Yeah, people in the Middle East, they use tahini. Oh, look at this. When I was a kid, the first day that we would be in Jordan, we used to listen for that. Kaik, kaik. And they would come down the street, these guys, with these huge boards on their head with these piled on the cake. And it's warm, kind of slightly sweet sesame bread that you'd have with melon and
Where
olive
would
oil.
you see them doing that?
They're walking down the street and they've called
Where?
in Jordan.
Right, let's go.
That's
I'm
it
going
then.
there now. Go and test Nadia because she's had a social media ban. I'm curious to know whether she remembers what the pudding from last week was. So let's wait. Nad,
Yeah.
take us into the munch brunch.
What's the munch brunch? Coffee walnut cake.
Oh, she got there.
It's
That.
not the munch brunch.
Yes, it is.
Oh.
You got it, and then you questioned it. I have to say that coffee and walnut cake sustained us for a week.
Evil, so good.
I loved it.
Coffee and walnut cake, coffee and walnut cake, coffee and walnut cake, coffee and walnut cake. Have you guessed what I'm making?
Meringue.
So I've done my usual when I'm making a cake that you all know I do by now. I've weighed my eggs. So I'm making a 3-layer cake. So I'm using 4 eggs. And then once I weighed the eggs, then I've weighed exactly the same amount each of butter, flour, sugar. So don't mind that. I've got some icing sugar on my butter. So it's a long story, but it's fine. It's just icing sugar. So nice, everything at room temperature. That's what you need to do for a cake. Always room. See how lovely and fluffy that's gone. The sugar. Now, the reason I'm making coffee and walnut cake is Maddie came in the other day from her boyfriend and I said, oh, did you have a nice time? She said, yeah, Mum, I had the best coffee and walnut cake I've ever had. And I went, I'm a bit jealous. So I said, I'm going to make a coffee and walnut cake for the subs this Sunday. So we've got our butter and sugar nicely fluffy. You want it to be paler than it was when you started whisking it. So you see how it's almost going almost white. Okay, so now I'm going to add my coffee bit. So that is 2 teaspoons of espresso instant coffee. Just mixed with a teeny bit of water because you don't want to make this too liquidy. Okay, let's get rid of them. Okay, so I've got the same weight of self-raising flour and I'm going to add a heaped teaspoon of baking powder. Give it a stir. Those that want to sieve at this point can sieve. I can never be asked.
And that's as simple as the coffee is in a coffee and walnut cake.
Well, the buttercream will be very coffee as well. At this point, if you want, you can add some chopped walnuts into the cake mix. But because my lot don't like chopped walnuts in the cake, I'm not going to do that and just put them on the top. But I would say, I don't know, 15, something like that. 20 walnuts just chopped. Some people go as far as to weigh each one. Can you believe that? I don't mind my cakes being a bit wonky. Wonky, wonky. What was it you were saying that you wanted from a coffee walnut cake?
I want to be driving through the countryside,
That was a lemon
see a
drizzle.
sweet sign for an oak tree cottage cafe, go in and there's a great big cake in slices on the desk and a
I think
really
that's when I was making the lemon drizzle. wasn't
and a
it?
really happy person with like ruddy cheeks goes,
Yeah.
would you like a slice of my coffee and walnut cake? And I go, yes please, with a double espresso.
Ha! Oh, I'm sorry, we don't do espresso here.
Yeah. And then they say there's no Wi-Fi. And then you think, oh, I'll go somewhere else then.
Well, I won't get as nice a cake or a moment of peace.
Yeah. We'll be able to stare into your ruddy red cheeks.
Okay, so that's going to go into the oven now for about 20 minutes.
Cool.
180. And I will check it at 20 minutes, put a skewer into the middle and see if it needs 5 minutes more, but I will not open the oven before 20 minutes.
Yay.
One. Do you know, even when you put your cakes in the oven, you're not supposed to bash them or bang the door shut because
Really?
it knocks the air bubbles out.
Spit it out.
Air bubble. Bubble, 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 bubble. So I'm just going to make the buttercream. It's a scary thing because it's 175 grams of butter and 350 grams of sugar. I've actually done 1.5 times that because I want loads of buttercream, but you just stick to that because it's very naughty. I've got here 4 teaspoons of espresso, just mixed with a little hot water. 4 teaspoons of instant espresso. I might add a bit more if it doesn't look dark enough, but that's what we're going to start with. So we've got the butter, the icing sugar and the coffee, and just start on a really slow speed. Taste. See if you want it more coffee, Mark.
That's good.
There we go. So now we just need the cake to come out and cool, and we are ready to go.
Oh, yum. Oh, that's really nice. It's exactly as I imagined it when driving down country lanes.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's ready. Oh, shouldn't really have used a fork, but I couldn't find a skewer. So they're done now. I'll just let them cool. And then we can
Oh, look. There's someone over there reading our book, Ned.
Oh my god, that's so cool. And that was totally natural.
Oh, look under your arm, Mum. Look.
This done.
What's under your arm?
Oh, what's that? Oh, it just happens to be Honey, I Homeschooled the Kids by Mark Anthony and NADIA Sawalha.
How funny. Time to buttercream a cake. Oh, look, that fits perfectly.
Oh, that's beautiful, and it's sort of gooey.
It sinks a bit in the middle just because of the way the plate is holding it. It's not because it's actually sunk. Let's get some buttercream on it. You don't like buttercream, do you, Mark? Maddie just called me and I said, I've made a coffee and walnut cake. She said, oh, Mum, I'll come and see you before you go out. I was like, no, it's all right. What I usually do is put a bit more on the edge so that you can see it, and then not so much in the middle so it's not too sickly.
That's clever. So it's a visual con.
And the last one. Okay. Oh, it looks proper homey, doesn't it? As you know, guys, I'm not the best baker in the world. My buttercream could be smoother, but I blimmin' love that. Oh, look at all that all down the side. Maybe we went a little over the top with the buttercream, but I don't care. There we go. Da 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 da. 1 coffee walnut cake.
So where are we going now?
Now we're going to the memes.
No.
The book. Nah.
You read this book?
Huh?
Sorry. This book.
What are you saying?
I haven't finished my book. Of
got about
What did you do in your digital detox?
60 pages left, I can't say. But I'm rushing it a bit and I'm really enjoying the
Save
book.
it for next week.
So I'm going to do it next week. So, recipe books.
Yeah, you know what I love?
But,
Is the fact that gives me an extra week to read mine.
hi, cheeky beggar.
So, Nads, where are you off to?
I'm going next door to film Teddy's Teddy Talks.
Yay!
So that'll be ready for you in a minute.
Yeah, I wonder what he's going to be talking about this time.
I don't know.
You're not going to get too close to him, are you?
Nope. Wearing a mask, seeing him outside with the door open.
God, those lips, they smell. So, oh, now I've got strawberry nose.
The world's gone mad, but Teddy's still here with Teddy Talks. Did you miss me while I was away?
We did, but
Did you-
because you had such a good time, we were very happy for you. Yeah,
And I've cracked my phone addiction.
yeah,
That's my other thing.
yeah.
So, what are we Teddy talking today?
Well, yes, years and years ago, when I was a student in the drama college, you know, life was very lonely for me for a while. Even then, I was a friend of Rumi. So I turned to Rumi and said, what should I do? And I could hear his voice saying, Ted, close your eyes, fall in love, and stay there. Okay? So I followed the advice. I closed my eyes. I fell in love. Well, in front of Betty, I think I'll say it was a very deep friendship. So
Betty.
I don't want to row.
I thought you fell in love with yourself. I thought that's what you were going to
With
say.
myself? No, I was already in love with myself. So there was no problem.
And that's never ending.
But they actually became friendly with a very, very nice girl who wanted to befriend me. So she said, my mum and dad are holding a party. Her dad was the mayor of some posh place, district of London. I don't know, something like Putney, Dulwich, or
Something like Putney.
probably Twickenham. And and they had a beautiful house. And she said, we're having, my mother is a theatrical agent, and she's going to have some friends come to the party. So we, you know, with us studying theatre, she said, you must come and feel the atmosphere of theatre in London. So I went. It was like a madhouse. You know, all theatrical types, 50s, mind you, here, you know, but they were still mad. You know, darling this and darling that, saying, had dinner with Sir Lawrence last night, and did you see Richard Burton's Hamlet, and did you what about T.S. Eliot and all this, you know, and the writers and the. I was like a deaf man at a very noisy wedding, as they say. I understood nothing. And it was a lonely time, and then suddenly things changed when somebody presented me with a large glass of sherry, which in my nerves I drank it like water. And of course, I lost it after that.
Oh no.
And I dropped my ice cream on the carpet.
Oh no.
I fell on a table full of glasses and smashed them all up.
He did a double shot of sherry.
It was terrifying. And eventually I sat down and felt very miserable. People did not move away from me, but I found myself isolated. And eventually the girl came and, you know, she was very sweet. She held my hand and she said, almost in tears, what would you like to do now? I said, you know, I feel lost. I'm on a different planet. I've never known anything like this in my life. So I'd like to go home. She said, okay, I'll call a taxi for you and they will take you home. So roomy. I followed your advice. I closed my eyes. I fell in love, but I couldn't stay there.
Because you made a right tit of yourself.
Yeah. It wasn't possible. You know, culture is such an important thing. And of course, you know, 50 years, 60 years later, having lived in London, you say, oh my God, it was a marvellous party.
Yeah.
But I understood nothing,
Yeah.
you know.
And so it left you feeling lonelier in a way.
Well, it left you feeling seriously challenged. And you felt, will I ever understand this new world I've come into? And a lot of my own friends who sort of came to London to study faced that question, and a lot left their universities and their studies and went back home because they felt that the challenge was just too impossible. You know,
But if you think about it in the other way round, like if I was suddenly to have got up and gone and lived completely in a Jordanian society with their language and with everything, it's an impossible. Impossible.
Oh,
But you did the same the other way
I mean,
around.
whoever, any Englishman who made it wrote a book about it.
Yeah.
You know, it was such an achievement. They had to tell the whole world about it.
Lawrence of Arabia.
You know, he's only one. But, you know, of course it is very challenging. And when you read these books, when I read them, I got a lot of comfort out of them, you know, because I thought, right, they're suffering on the other side. That's good.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not only me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how other people's suffering can ease one's own.
Yes, it was really wonderful. I remember somebody pointing, an actor, to me. You know, they pointed a lot, but I remember somebody said, look at that guy with the gap in his teeth. His name, I think, is Terry Thomas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The actor.
You know, he was one of. I wasn't introduced to a lot. I do not remember who they were or what they were.
Yeah.
But you know, it was very generous of her, very sweet. And if I'd stayed, I would have pleased Rumi, but I couldn't stay.
Have you ever drunk sherry in one shot before? Again, since?
Again, yes. 10 years later, I was in a pub in Hampstead, and I had, you know, a large share, and I stood in the front, you know, in the door, overlooking the pavement. And as I stood there, the cool air hit me, and I just went.
That's what happens to me. Mark's gonna die laughing when he says that. Sees this, because I always say to him, "It was the air. It was the air that did it."
Absolutely. Yeah. Anyway.
Mads, come here.
Cheese, potato, and onion rolls. Shall I make those for next week?
Oh, sounds good.
Cheese, potato, and onion rolls.
I was about to put my hand on your bottom, but you farted a minute ago.
Mark! Do not put that in. I mean it. I mean it. Mark,
Say
go
goodbye.
away.
Say
no,
goodbye. Say
no,
goodbye.
because you've got to start a new one because I'm not having that one.
Say goodbye.
No.
It was a lovely show, guys.
Mark. Don't. I mean it.